And we are live. Another broadcast, the Roofing on the Rise studio, where we bring you the innovations in the roofing industry. Today and every day, we are sponsored by Roofing Supply Incorporated here in the Houston marketplace, where you can come and get your shingles from me. Telephone number 210-919-8987. I get you some shingles. Also, we are sponsored by West Group Public Adjusting. Looking for a great public adjuster and or appraiser in the Houston and surrounding Texas Triangle marketplace, hit up West Group Public Adjusters. I'm really excited today. I've been waking up. I woke up and just kicked sharks in the face, so it's an awesome day. But it's an even awesomer day because I got Ryan Groth with me today on the broadcast. Ryan, how are you doing?
I'm awesome. I'm doing great, Marquise. Thanks for having me.
Man, I am super excited to have you. I'm like super excited to like get to know more about you. Primarily because of our first interaction. I mean, I'm going to touch on it. I was looking for sales training, and I was really looking for something that was different, that would break the mold of what we were used to, and you were referred to us. And man, your training platform looked, I haven't been able to really dive deep into everything, but it looked amazing. But it was way beyond our company's price tag. And when I expressed that, you came to me and asked me if there were anything that you or your team could have done differently to help us through the process. And I thought that that was an amazing way to market yourself and your business as trying to help in solving problems, and more on both solving problems for the consumer, but also trying to, if there was solving a problem in the processes of your own company, you were going to do that right then and there. There was nothing at all for everyone that's watching or will watch in the future. There was nothing at all about the presentation or about the way in which that they helped and or followed up with us. It just was not in our price tag. With that being said, that means you are a very, very high quality sales training sales force, right? So Ryan, tell me a little bit about Sales Transformation Group and how you started it.
Yeah, well, thanks for remembering that. And I was tempted, for about 30 seconds to be offended, right? For a second,
No.
You gotta do what's the right thing. Is, hey, how can we get better? And that's what I want to know. Feedback is the breakfast of champions. Is one of my favorite quotes. So so Sales Transformation Group, we're basically a platform, a system to run your sales org off of. So if you're a contractor, any business, and you want to have a system that's proven to help you recruit, manage, hold people accountable, train, sales processes, onboarding, screening, all of it. If you want a system to run your sales org off of, not your entire business, but your sales org, that is what we do. And we definitely have a close connection to the roofing industry, as that's kind of how it all started. Kind of my story and how I started the business was in 2008. I was a Oral Roberts University college baseball player. They're going to Omaha, baby. So
okay, all right.
So they're the final 8 in the nation. But played baseball there. And my mom and stepdad, they had started a contracting business, I'd say about 10 years prior. And so life seemed good, everything was great. But the recession period, that 2008, 2009, really impacted them, both financially and in their marriage. And at that time, as a young adult getting ready to try to make it to the big leagues, which I got drafted twice, played baseball with the Angels and, in their minor league system. And I just enjoyed this high performing, become the best you can be athlete team, not heavy rah, just like perform, prepare, execute. And I just loved that part of who I became through that journey, that chapter in my journey of sports. But I was hoping to go back and help them grow that business and kind of be that second generation leader. But that didn't happen. And so I was deeply impacted. And I said, how can I learn from this? How can I take what I just witnessed and take what I just went through, which was a shorter career than I was hoping for. Everybody goes hoping to make it to the major leagues, and I did not. But I said, what do I do from here? And as I was kind of navigating that, I met some people in my South Florida area where I was living in Pompano Beach, Fort Lauderdale. And I started to network with, some movers and shakers. And I'm like kind of just getting ready to figure life out. 24, 25 to 26 years old, just got married to my wife. And, we didn't know what we were going to do. So I got involved with, but I knew what I'm capable of, right? You learn, you grow. And I got connected to a large commercial roofing contractor and really was impacted by his story and his mentorship. And so I was working at a mom and pop contracting business, done some coaching. And when I met him, I was like, this is a professional. This guy's a stud. And he actually was the first one to do a nationwide roll up in the 1990s, early 2000s. And like you see it happening now, like he was the OG of that. Like he did it first. Didn't end well, as some of these you'll see maybe not end well. But as he recovered, he bought a roofing company in South Florida, built it to about 25 million. Recession hit, gets down to about 8. And then he says, we're going to be a sales org, focus on service, focus on re-roofing, no more new construction. We won't be estimators and bidders anymore. We're going to be relationship focused sales, account managers. We're going to drive proactively and build a younger, adopt moldable sales team around that. When I met him, it was 2013, Marquise, and he had gone from 8 million back up to about 24, but it was pure service and re-roof. So margins are better, pay is faster, quality of clients better. They're not beating you up on price like GCs are. It's not cyclical like new construction could be super cyclical. And I just got to be mentored by him. But what was really even more special is that I wasn't just in the sales department. I actually got to become their sales trainer and sell a sales software that he had started. And that was my venture, was launching this product. So I was going out amongst the marketplace, meeting contractors, and I was realizing how unsophisticated and how poor the sales acumen was and how poorly trained and developed most of these contractors' businesses were. And what I saw was an opportunity to add additional color to a software and add training and coaching and consulting. So I started doing that, traveling, sitting in with CEOs, looking at their spreadsheets, making comp models, developing sales plans. I've been doing that since 2013. And I'm not doing it with like small companies. I've done it with, $70 million companies doing over 100 million. Many of them commonly are going to be in that, 8 to 20 million range. So not small companies, but not the mega whales in the market either.
Right.
So I just loved it. I'm like, dude, this is so fun. We get to like make a plan, implement a system, a process, get young people fired up about being in roofing. They're not thinking this is a transition job or like let's make roofing sexy. Let's make these teams fun. Let's make this culture awesome. Let's add this environment that, has been so neglected. It's basically most sales orgs aren't even built out in a contracting business. It's like the shed in the backyard. It's like, yeah, we kind of do that, but it's not like the actual place where you want to hang out. And I'm like, dude, we got to transform these companies to do that.
Okay. Mind blown. That's where you came up with the name. That's it. All right.
So I started this company just over 5 years ago, and we've been involved with closing in on 700 companies since at different levels. And it just keeps maturing and growing. Yeah, it's been evolving for a long time. And it's, it's going through another evolution. But, you're willing to take feedback, see what the market gives you, and do your best to make an impact. And so that's what we've been doing. That's what STG is.
Dang, dude, that is absolutely insane. My mind blew whenever you were talking. You're like, we need to transform the way. I'm like, whoa, that is deep, and it's a good, that's good branding because you're really doing that, right? Transforming the way in which that sales training is done. I like that. So tell me a little bit about your mindset, right? So have you always been a a business owner, or did you work for the man before? Were you W-2?
Yeah, I was W-2 at the software company. I was a president of the company. Didn't own any part of the business. Was hoping for that, and that's, that didn't work out, and that's okay. Wasn't supposed to happen, but yeah, this is my first time as a business owner. At that point, I ran that software company like it was my own business. I had, mostly full autonomy, and it was a lot of fun. But yeah, this is year 6 for me.
So what was your motivating factor to go from a W-2 position to 1099?
Well, I'll tell you what, like having the experience and cutting my teeth on the business and being mentored really proved to be a foundation that I could stand on. It provided, gave me a lot of confidence. I made a lot of mistakes, saw what I didn't want to do, saw what I wanted to do. Also just had so much authority to speak with because I was in the guts and in the day-to-day environment of a very successful company. So the contrast between most of the market and this company was so blatant that I was able to see with eyes of like clarity on how I can help everybody. So, I also found that a lot of people enjoyed working with me. They, I love building relationships, pretty authentic guy. So I think most people felt supported when they get to know me. And, I just built a lot of confidence because that's why I love sales so much. Like you can't be depressed and be in sales.
It doesn't work.
You can't be insecure and be in sales. You can't not be prepared and be able to hold yourself like in a place of awkwardness. You have to be able to stand confidently. And so when you do repetition after repetition after repetition, and you have a board meeting with this, 60-year-old and a 70-year-old that are super wealthy grilling you about the business, and you have to be able to answer, and they have to believe you, and to be doing that over and over again, you get a lot of confidence. And so that's what really supported me. And then, I got some friends, the right time, right place, that just said, man, I think you'd be such a great consultant. I mean, you'd be so, and I never thought about going on my own because I was so bought in to the future of what I was building. Because I'm all in, man. Like I'm either all in or I'm all out. That's me. Like I was like, I'm going to be a professional baseball player. I was all in. I was the most hardworking person, was phone early, left late, didn't drink, didn't smoke, didn't do this, didn't do that, worked from a walk-on to a drafted twice, working at restaurants on the way. I mean, I was all in. And I think that commitment overcompensates some failures and mistakes because, you're willing to just continue to go on and you're never going to quit. So I think whenever I had when 2018 happened, when I started this company, I made a few phone calls. I just tested the waters. I was like, hey, bro, thinking about making a switch. If I did this, sorry, I don't call everybody bro, by the way, but some of these I did. I was like, hey, if I'm thinking about making a switch and I want to do some training and consulting and not do the software part, would you be open to working with me? And when I got 2 yeses after 2 phone calls, I was like, this ain't going to be hard because I have so
right. Yeah.
like I got so many contacts and I just went for it, and then I never looked back. I mean, the story goes on, and it's got a lot of lows as well. It's not a lot of straight highs in terms of the journey, but yeah.
Man, that's amazing. So the reason I asked this, there's young people that watch. I know there's one in particular that actually was W-2. I thought he was 1099 for the longest time. I bought a truck from him, and I'm helping mentor the young guy, and so his thing was like trying to understand the mindset of high performers, right? Mm-hmm. And what exactly the recipe is that they do, because I mean, we all look at people that are more successful than ourselves, right? I mean, like just for instance, myself, I wake up, I'm listening to Goggins most of the time. Um, David Goggins, Alex Ramosi, things like that, just to get my brain moving, um, and in directions in which that are positive, right? So that it'll move me in a way in which that would transform me. Okay, so thank you for sharing that. That's awesome. Um, let's go into the way in which that you do sales, right? So your tactics online are not necessarily uh I wouldn't say they're guerrilla tactics, right? Because a lot of companies do a guerrilla style marketing. Could you share with us a little bit about how you do some of your marketing without like giving us the secret sauce? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. So like how I market or how I would coach a contractor to market, how I do it.
Oh, uh, give us both.
Um,
Start with the contractor.
yeah. So the contractor, I mean, I'm big on brand. Um, so I think that you got to have a clean brand. It's got to be solid. Um, I think that your social media is consistent. You got to drip market, which is email marketing. So you got to any card you get, anybody you have a discussion with needs to go in that email, and you need to drop emails once every week or 2 weeks, depending on how where your stage of your business is and how much of a need you are. It takes 7 to 8 times for someone to see your brand before it snaps, and they're like, "That's a brand. That's a company. That's a legitimate player." The other thing about marketing that I am a big believer in, both for contractors and myself, is when you have a client and a logo and a brand that has a great reputation, like they're amazing. The associated relationship that goes public, um, that confidence that they've created in them, in others in their world now is yours. What I mean by that is, let's just say, you see joint ventures and collaborations and this and that. If I'm partnering with a company, so there's a company in Houston, one of the largest in roofing I've worked with, right? That company is certainly influenced other companies to join us, because if that company's worked with us and it's been marketed in a way that, is not, you can market it really directly and put their numbers out there and promote the results, or you can just have the logo somewhere. But just being able to tell a story and have a quote or anything that associates that brand with your company or my company is going to create a lot of confidence in the market. So what I'm saying is social proof is a game changer.
Yeah.
For example, like there's a sales trainer that does like kind of high ticket only stuff. And like, then there's another guy and then two other guys, and they all have had some relationship with the most popular motivational speaker in the world. Who is that? Marquise, the most intense, powerful, popular in the world. Who is it? First name that comes to your mind.
Eric Thomas.
Even bigger than him, taller
Okay.
and
Taller.
louder and big mouth and really
Tony Robbins.
Tony Robbins, right?
All right.
So like, the fact is that these companies talk about their relationship with Tony Robbins in their marketing, right?
Yeah.
What that does is it lowers resistance across so many people, because they know how impactful Tony Robbins is. Most people have done something and has some interaction. I've done that with roofing, where there's contractors who speak on stages regularly, right? Or they're pretty well known and they have a great brand. Well, if that company puts a public blessing and an endorsement about me, and I have a strong enough relationship where they've gotten results and I've connected with them enough where they know me and I know them and we are connected, their name can be on my marketing. And as long as the relationship's good and they're getting results and I do what I say, that's going to lower resistance and open doors better than a cold DM or a cold call, right? Mm. So if I double down on social proof, if you as a contractor double down on social proof and lean into, think about if you're a roofing contractor, right? Let's just say you're a residential roofer and you're like, oh, I want to get into commercial, right? And you get your first client and it's you name it. Like, I can see if you nail down the biggest, best property management company in Houston, what would that be? What would be your top 2 or 3 property management groups that have the most buildings under management?
I do not.
CB Richard Ellis, Cushman Wakefield. You can name these.
Oh, Wakefield. Yeah. Okay.
So let's just say you get a job with Wakefield. You do a preventative maintenance program. You do a re-roof. You can do a $20,000 major repair. And if that's your only client, you need to make sure that relationship is tight and you squeeze the juice out of that social proof, as long as they're okay with it, with your permission, their permission, you can open more doors by waving the Cushman Wakefield or whatever flag in some mode of marketing way better than cold calling. Because now that company who is probably thinking, man, Cushman's a pretty great company.
Right.
If they're using them, they have a vetting process or whatever, then that means they're probably a legitimate contractor or a legitimate company to work for. So I'm really big and in favor of relationships, marketing, social proof, and results in the process of promoting your business, because it forces you to have high integrity. You have to. What if you're marketing a brand and you screw it up, the relationship goes completely broken. You can't do that anymore, right?
Right.
So I love I love relationships and marketing, but it is harder because it takes skill and time to keep those and keep them strong. But it's something that you can, lean into for a long time. And so I like name dropping companies that might make sense to somebody, and that typically works for me, and it works for our customers.
So what is your mode of operation on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter? Do you have a certain recipe that you like to employ for yourself?
Yeah, there's the Ryan managing my account, and then there's the company that I've hired to help me with videos to manage my account. I'm just going to focus on the me managing my own account thing, because that's probably most companies can do. So what I like to do is I like to document myself in action. So what I typically like to do is, like last week, I went to Indianapolis, and I was working with a customer. I had some teammates helping with the project with this customer all week. It's a product called Mach 5. It's 5 months of work in 5 days. You come to your office, make a huge impact. And it's a consulting project. Essentially, we're doing a build of our sales system. And while I was there, I had St. Leo's, which is a famous restaurant there. I had that twice. I put on Facebook that I'm coming to this area. Anybody want to connect? I met probably 7 or 8 roofing contractors. Took a few pictures with some of them. Took a picture with some of the really good brands next to their truck. Put it out there and just kind of subtly displayed that my trip's going well, right? And I'm enjoying the trip. And so I did that, and then people were reaching out to me wanting to connect. So then I had a dinner, and then I had this with this company, and it just was a really great experience, And so then we documented what we did and got some feedback, and then I took those pictures and I put it in an email, and I emailed it to our list and shared what we did, and did a call to action. And so anytime we can have some sort of documentation of what we're doing, I think it's really profound, because I think most of us are going to be the best when we're doing what we're paid to do. We're going to be the best. If you're working with a contractor, selling them shingles and helping them figure stuff out, you documenting that is probably going to be your best self, versus trying to say something that's not in your wheelhouse. And so I think Gary Vee talks about that, don't create, document, or something like that. So I find that's my best type of marketing. And then, I mix in the personal brand, and, talk about things that I believe in, whether it's, beliefs, family, mix that in. I try to be very easy to digest for everybody. So I don't get political. I look at a lot of political things, but I'm not resharing that, right? Because what if I have somebody who just is the opposite of me in that regard, and then now they're like, okay, I'm not buying from him because he's offending me right now. And I've dealt with some of that.
Right.
I think we got to be thoughtful about how bold we want to be. What hill are we ready to die on? What's the upside, downside? Think through that. And so I can tell you right now, nobody ever really gets mad at you showing your family, because I have a beautiful family. I have 5 children. My wife and I have been married just about 12 years. I mean, that's everything. So who's going to say? I don't care what side of the fence you're on politically. If you're Christian, agnostic, Jewish, I don't care. They're going to family is family, right? You can't get mad at family. You can't get mad at business and results. and being positive and inspiring, right? So I think my personal brand and my Facebook and my LinkedIn and my Instagram, those are highly focused on, value, non-polarizing, authentic personal posts, and documentation.
That's awesome. So let's dive a little bit deeper into your mindset on a day-to-day. So like, do you have a routine that you go through? You work out, like those sorts of things?
Yeah. So I need quiet time in the morning. That's when I'm at my best. So typically I pray, get into some sort of scripture message, and so I try to fill up on that. I do more of that than I do motivational. I don't really listen to a lot of motivational stuff. I personally listen to more things that help me stay grounded in who I am and abide in that place and that part of my life. And then I do workout. So I work out CrossFit right now. I've gone back and forth with CrossFit, Gold's Gym. I've done all kinds of different stuff. I like CrossFit right now.
CrossFit's intense.
It is, man. It's good.
I did that for a little while. It was definitely different.
Yeah. Definitely different. Yeah.
I mean, you're pushing yourself to the limit. That actually might be something I need to be doing here pretty soon. But I just got another gym membership because my condo gym is closed like 95% of the time. And it is just so, yeah, we have nice amenities. I'm actually making a full on video. I documented it, like you said, this morning. Just documented my walk up to the gym, and here it is. It's closed again. And there's just no reason why it should be closed today. So anyway, I didn't use that as an excuse to not work out. I just went and did pull-ups and push-ups and all kinds of stuff. Dude, walked a few miles, jogged, stuff like that. Feel like for me in the morning, my workout is super important. Like I get out a lot of that negative energy. You a morning or evening workout guy?
Morning. Yeah.
Morning.
Yeah. Because my children and my wife, they don't wake up as early as I do. So it's like my time to, I mean, as selfish as crazy as it sounds, like as a married man running a company with children, like getting quiet time and workout time is just about the only personal time you're going to get. Like, and so you have options. What am I going to do? Am I going to choose to use that personal time? Like, how am I going to use that time? Right.
Yep.
So I don't have an aspiration to be a professional athlete anymore. I'm not trying to be a bodybuilder and do a flexing competition. I'm not a personal trainer or an influencer. I just want to be, I just want to feel really good. I like to feel strong, and I don't want to be fat. So that's basically what my motivation is to manage my intake on food. Don't get crazy, feel good each day, have a clear mind, push myself, get warm, get hot, use some of my strength. And then if I don't, I try to get 10,000 steps in anyway. So just a big walk, just walking a long time. It's small, it's less intense, but it's so good for you. And yeah, just getting a big walk. I feel like an old person talking about that when I play baseball. I see the people just walking around, these old people. I'm like, that's me, man. That's me now. I just like to walk. Just out there, just get some fresh air. So.
Oh my gosh. That's funny that you say that. My mom, she used to do these walks, and she used to drag me and my sister on these god awfully long walks that we thought, right? Miles long. I remember going through these parks, and it's nighttime. I'm flipping rocks over with a neon light trying to find scorpions because I'm bored of walking for so long. It's so funny that you bring that up because now I do kind of feel a little old. Because my first thing is I got to walk. Like I have to walk. It kind of loosens me up.
Yeah.
And then I got a foam roller, which is actually sitting over here. I had to roll out before the podcast. My back was hurting. I got to roll out. Like I have to roll out and stretch. There's something about that just kind of gets me set. And then right now I'm really working hard to try to lose the gut. Like I've got the dad bod going on. So the abs, I've been killing it in the gym. So I'm starting to get a little definition up top, but down bottom is so pudgy. So I'm working. I got a buddy, Larry. Shout out to Larry. He's on the board at Harco with me, and he just hired this personal trainer, and they're doing these rucks with weighted backpack, and then he's like, grab a weight and just one and walk with it and walk for a while and then switch it and then walk for a while. Because it's going to do something for you. Be unbalanced with that. It's going to work on those lower muscles. And then just like, he's like, stop. He's like, just stop doing what you think is going to make sense because it doesn't. And like he's in like the calories that they're telling him to intake. I'm just like, bro, I'm gonna listen. I'm like, obviously you hired this high paid professional for a reason, and he's helping. I mean, the dude's cutting up. So pretty excited to be going at this and really in a different way. Like you said, like I'm not trying to like get buff or anything like that. I'm just trying to not be fat anymore. Oh my god,
fat. That's what I'm trying to do. Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
We have. I mean, like I like to feel jacked, but like So here's what like quick story. I'm about 231 pounds right now, 6'2", 230. I was my playing weight was about 210, 215. So I was strong, but not like really big. Last year, I'm just like, dude, I just want to be jacked. I'm a dad. I got a ton of kids. Like, let's just get yoked and just like not care. So I like full on like 5 days a week, protein, couple hundred, grams of protein a day. And I just eat anything in sight. And I get to 240 and I'm strong. Like I'm throwing up 100-pound dumbbells like 15 times. I'm just moving weight, just getting, and, well, what happened was like travel and some stuff. I had a baby in February, our 5th kid, and just got busy. But the calorie intake didn't stop, but the working out did. So that was my first time in my life where I got fat. So it was like, It happened. I'm like, okay, I would rather be lean and mean and not be massive and bulky and feel strong, and be lean and mean and feel mobile and like light and like, feel like just more trim and athletic than that. So I'm not going to go there again because I just don't have time. So how do I do it? Just eat less.
Yeah.
Eat less, move more, stay consistent, eat less, a little less. Like stay away. I'm just staying away from like a lot of the breads, the carbs, the cookies, no sodas. Basically just trying to eat veggies.
As I drink a Dr. Pepper.
Dr. Pepper tastes good, but like you got to shut that down.
We don't have it in the house. I can only get it at work. Right. So like we've specifically removed it out of the home so that it's not a go-to, and we've replaced it with sparkling mineral water.
Yeah, those are good. Do that. Get black coffee, sparkling water, a juice here and there, some orange juice, fine. But yeah, soda is one of those that just crush you, bro. Like you can't do it. You can't do soda.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna stare at that for the rest, and then I'm gonna go get a water after we're done. That is just the devil. It is though. Like it's got so much sugar in it. It's ridiculous. It makes me sluggish. So one thing that like this morning I was up at like 5:30, and I was gonna go to the external gym that I pay for, and I just felt like dog crap, man. I mean, I could not get out of the door. I was nauseous, just not feeling well. I had rolled out a couple of times. I mean, before I could even leave. And that's when I was like, well, you know what? I'm going to go to my home gym because it just was not happening this morning, like leaving the house. And what's crazy is as soon as I started walking, that feeling was gone.
Mm-hmm.
It was gone. And I knew after about a mile, I'm sweating and I'm thinking I didn't turn on anything today, by the way. I didn't listen to anything, just my own thoughts. And I was like, my diet is piss poor and it has got to change.
What's
And
cool about working out is if you're consistent and you're moving, you realize that Dr. Pepper is not going to make that better. Or eating like eventually you say, I don't want to pollute my body because my body's moving and it feels good right now, but it's like saying, hey, you're throwing bad gasoline in my car right now. Like you gotta give me something better. And I've been guilty. We had some banana bread last night. They made that. I had a couple bites. Actually,
you're looking over at the banana bread right now. You're like,
yeah, but like, when you do that too many days in a row, you're like, I don't want to feel like that. I'd rather feel good. So like, I'd rather just eat a piece of some eggs or sausage or a smoothie and eat that for breakfast. And when you get busy, you just start to. I'm a creature of habit in the sense where I'll have the same meal. I'll get the same thing over and over again.
Yes.
And what I like is when I go out to dinner with a customer, I like either filet or ribeye, and I like to eat, with veggies. I don't get the baked potato. I don't get the fries. I don't get the mashed potato. I like a Caesar salad. I like tuna ahi salads. I like Asian salads and grilled chicken salads. Those hit home every time, right? And then the good news is, and then I like smoothies. I like sushi. I mean, it's just like a few things. You just eat them over and over again. You're just like, if you eat like that and keep moving every day and just do it incrementally over time, that gut will be gone. You just got to stay disciplined. So I got you.
Wifey, I know you're watching this. Shout out to my wife. It's her birthday yesterday, and we're gonna just like celebrate it for the rest of the month. She watches all these, and she's also like, and she's my rock, man. Absolutely. So anyway, wifey, let's do the juicing now. So I know it's time to get groceries. Let's add that to the list. I'm just done waking up in the morning and eating McDonald's crap. Like I go and eat a chicken biscuit in the morning with a coffee, and it is not good for me. So, and I didn't have it this morning, by the way. I didn't eat anything this morning, which is probably bad. But anyway, juice. Let's do it on the way to that. All right. So moving on from the juicing, the nutrition, and the working out, which is actually really good. Because it's like the recipe for what the rest of our life is. Let's go deep into lessons that you've learned in business in life. What is the biggest lesson in business that you've learned?
Relationships are everything. You're going to be a product of who you surround yourself with. That's a fact. So choose your mentors well, choose your friends well. In life, money does not chasing status, chasing material things. It comes and goes. It fades, it glows, it goes. I would focus on things that matter, like relationships. Those make you truly rich. I would focus on, always trying to be somebody who spends well and doesn't spend a lot of money if they don't need it, and just consistently focus on earning and delivering value. And I think that sales cures all ails. I love that sales can, when you become a sales master, you're never really shaken because you can always make something happen. You can pick up the phone and bring in cash. And you can only get people to answer the phone if they trust you and they like you and they want to pick up the phone. And the only way that they're going to pick up the phone by doing that is if you demonstrate that you're somebody that's worthy, that's trustworthy and likable. And the only way you can be trustworthy and likable is to trust yourself and surround yourself with great people and to do what you say you're going to do and care about people and do a great job. That's what it comes down to this. It's like the better you are, the more people want to buy and work with you, which means more open people are to taking your call, which makes it easier to sell to them and give value, which makes it easier to run a business because you're not freaking out about
Right.
it. It's great. It sounds really basic, but to be able to pick up the phone and call somebody and know that they're going to, listen to you and take your call, that's life and that's business right there. And I think that's the kind of thing that I would say is important, is be somebody that you'd want to answer the phone, and if you're doing that because your ideas are great and your values great and you're consistent and you're demonstrating that you're the kind of person that people want to pick up the phone and listen to through your actions and through your branding and through your relationships, that's gonna be the person that when you send an email, somebody emails back immediately, right?
Yeah.
Be the person when you text, they text back immediately. Be the person if you call and they're in a meeting, they say, "Hey, Marquise, I'm in a meeting. Sorry, I can't take your call." How do you become that person? Think about it. How do you become that person that when you call, they answer? When you text, they text back. When you DM, they DM back. How do you become that person? That's the question you need to ask yourself, because if you become that person, you will always be okay. You're always going to provide for your family. You're always going to have a name that's honorable in your space. And, you just got to be like, hey, what am I not doing, or what am I need to stop doing to help me become that person? And those might be really hard questions, but you answer that question and you dig in, you're going to be okay. You're going to be successful, and define success for yourself. Success shouldn't be Facebook comparing yourself. You notice I don't really jump on a lot of Facebook banters. You probably don't see me arguing a lot.
Yeah.
You don't see me flexing a lot. You don't see me puffing my chest. You don't see me on there. I just drip people with value here and there. And I'm focusing on doing my job, which is delivering value to people. I'm delivering. I'm not telling everybody. I'm trying not to. I'm trying to be more of I do more than I say I'm doing. And that's something that, and delivering the value, that more than talking about your value and under delivering over time. So focus on what success is for you. Define that with your spouse, with yourself, with your leadership team, and be the person people want to answer the phone when you call or text back immediately. Because why? Because you either bring value, you have something they need, you're creating opportunity to help that person. They genuinely think you're a good person. Yeah.
Man, that's good stuff. I want to ask you a personal question, real quick. Don't have to go in deep with it, because we're talking about high level, high performing sales organizations and CEOs. I at least consider you one of those. So what are you a man of faith?
Yes.
Okay. So is that something that you've been doing for a very long time? Is it something that you've been doing recently, like as a business owner? Or has that always been with you?
Yeah, I've been a man of faith for 20 years.
Awesome. Yeah, it's just something that I like to ask. It's like I said, a recipe for success, right? We're talking about transforming people's minds, and really that's a big goal. It's something that whenever people look at you, they see that you're different, and there's a reason why you're different, right? There are certain, hey, he gets up, he works out, he goes and he does, he meditates, and just on and on and on. So that's definitely one of those things that I like to touch on. I'm a man of faith as well. So that's awesome. You touched on, posting pictures of your family, because that's something that generally doesn't get, you know, like railed at all. Like people don't get on there and don't post pictures of your wife and kids. That's just not that doesn't happen. So like I like that because it's more of a non-controversial way in which to like not only market yourself but also your family and what your core unit values are.
Mhm.
Um, I like that. That's awesome. So tell me a little bit more about, and this is different, right? Because I kind of touch on this. I don't tell everybody I touch on this, but my wife knows I touch on this. Is your wife a rock in your life, and does she help your business?
Yeah, so my wife's a stay-at-home mother, homeschools 5 children. So
Oh,
she is a
whoa.
busy woman. Yeah, so she doesn't help my business in terms of
Okay.
like, she's not on payroll.
Yep.
But she's my partner in life, and so her buy-in and connection to what I'm doing is very, very important. The decisions I'm making because it affects our lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we've done some crazy stuff. Like I've traveled for 9, 10 years in this industry on trade shows and trainings and visits. And then we moved to Maui for 3 years. And I was doing 20 trips over 3 years back and forth across the Pacific Ocean back to the industry. She was at home 3 weeks, 2 different times without me there because I was trying to get stuff done on the mainland. So she's run, our family and our household with me gone. So all these decisions, it impacts her. And
Absolutely.
so she helps my business in a sense, but she's we both are not each other's rock. Like,
Dude, homeschool, you could have left it at that.
yeah,
I was homeschooled a little bit.
nice.
Um, yeah, you could have just been like, she homeschools the kids. Mic drop. Done. Because that right there, in and of itself, is you could probably put a price on. I mean, you really can't, but I'd say anywhere between $250,000 and about $500,000 a year.
Yeah,
That's what a wife that homeschools physically working, if you were to quantify and to put in what a salary would be to worthwise, right? I've looked this up. The minimum is $250,000. I am more on the side of saying about $500,000 because,
yeah.
bruh, that is just something else. I homeschooled, and the reason why I say this is because I was homeschooled for a little while in high school, and I know what it's about, and I know how hard it can be and how challenging it can be, but I also know how fun it can be. I mean, you can do just about anything with homeschool. Um, I love it. We did like this tour across America.
Oh,
Um,
wow, that's awesome.
we and we watched this video about it while we were doing some of it, which was cool. We didn't get to go to all of them, but as an adult, I was able to go to some of these spots. So it was awesome to be able to look back. Homeschool, really awesome. A lot of respect for your wife, a lot of respect for you as well. More now that you say that you got homeschool kids, and because I love homeschool. So that actually like that has like a whole nother like we could do a whole podcast about homeschooling kids. It
Yeah,
would be an amazing podcast. If you're on the live and you're watching and you're not a part of HSLDA, I think it's very, very important. Homeschool Legal Defense Association. I don't know if you guys are. If you're not, I feel like it's very important. And I think I'm still a member of the HSLDA. Very, very, very awesome educational membership. Which kind of leads me to the next thing: Sales Transformation Conference.
hmm
How was that? Tell me about it.
yeah. So it was our first year last year. We have the next one in September. So if you go
Okay.
to thetransformconference.com. And yeah, it's an event that we host where we gather industry leaders, customers, people who don't know about us yet and they want to get to know us more. And we bring in, not only just industry speakers but we bring in outside speakers. So I have 3 outside speakers this year that are coming in and they're going to bring business value or something around mindset. Because I think that, if I were to say what's the ingredients, I'd say it's 70% business, content and 30% personal growth and transformational type content.
Okay.
Because I think that that's a key ingredient to, and that makes us different, is we do spend time talking about that. And we have different speakers that have different messages that I think will be impactful. It's pretty neat. We have main stage time, we have breakouts, roundtables, networking opportunities, sponsors opportunities. And we had about 300 people last year. I expect this year.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Expect this year to be similar. We're doing our first Transform Awards. So we'll be nominating, if you want to nominate somebody, let me know, but nominating, Sales Director of the Year, Residential and Commercial Contractor of the Year, High Growth Award, Transformational Award, different awards that recognize, the body of work over the past year, and to just honor them, because I think it's important to, be recognized in a kind of a industry public platform. I think that goes a long way.
Yeah.
And so, I think that's the kind of thing we're working on and that we do. And we do like prospects coming so that we can let them see what we're about and then invite them into an opportunity to partner with us and have their sales org run off of STG and help them grow their business.
Dude, that's awesome. So, when did the idea of STG come up?
I'd say
not STG, but the actual conference rather.
Oh yeah. So in 2021, I had a conference called Sales Warrior Live, and I liked the conference. The format was good, but I didn't like the name. I felt like it was just not the right fit for kind of who we're looking to serve with that event. And then we also did an event called Teen 2021 earlier that year, and that was a gathering of just customers at a ranch in Sonora, Texas. And it was a very nice experience. We had about 100 people there. And so both of those events, I tested the name, tested the vibe, and I was like, this is not there yet. So last year, we were planning on doing Sales Warrior Live year 2. And I called an audible and I was like, this isn't it. And I said, I think we've nailed it. And so that's where we landed on the Transform Conference, the #1 event for growth-minded contractors. That's our subtitle of the event. Could change. But that's what we landed on. And, we're going at it for year 2.
That's awesome. So I've got to ask the question. This is kind of a serious question. Hate me or not. Is it a pay-to-play type conference?
Yes.
So okay. So do you invite speakers and pay speakers, or do vendors pay to be a speaker at the conference?
Well, the agenda's filled out. I have 2 outside speakers that I paid. And one's an author. They're both authors. So
Okay.
one's, they're not like, massive names or anything, but they're
right.
well known.
Right.
They fit our message. So I have those 2 coming. And then many of the sponsors are on some sort of a panel. I did have to approve it. I hand selected everybody based off of, their involvement as a sponsor or my belief in their message or a partner. So we have 2 levels. We have partners and sponsors. Partners are, paid partners that join our platform, and we promote them to our users and our customers, and they get a shoe in at every event that we host. And then we have sponsors who are just coming for the event itself. And then, they pay probably more than they typically would. I mean, you mentioned my price of my course or my program's higher. Kind of the same thing with our conference. Our tickets are about $1,100 for basically 4 days. The 12th evening reception, all day 13th, all day 14th, and a half day. No, all day the 12th through the 15th, and half day on the 15th. Okay. So it's a pretty long commitment, but it's very, very. I mean, I charged a little less last year, and people said you undercharged us. This was so nice, so good, too much value for the price. And so, basically that's how we did it. And then sponsors pay, a decent amount, probably more than a typical event, but the quality of people, the experience, and, the audience we create and the relationships, I think are above average. And so you just kind of get what you pay for.
Cool. And the reason why I ask this is because the stigma in the industry is pay to play. And that's on most every single platform that you see. So when you say transform conference, that's one of the things that I'm looking at, right? What exactly is the setup for the speakers? So that I like to hear that you do a hand selection of who can be a vendor or who can be a partner with you, um, because that means that it's more of a kick glove type experience, rather than a high school, pep rally. Um, Not to like bash any of the high school pep rally type conferences, but anyway. And I also haven't been to your conference, so I can't say one thing or another. I would love to attend one time. Where is your conference? Where can you find your conference?
Yeah, it's in Dallas at the Renaissance Hotel.
Okay.
So yeah, you can just go to thetransformconference.com and you can buy your tickets there.
Perfect. Perfect. I am definitely going to be looking into that, because I like things that challenge me as an individual and a businessman. I feel like it's super important to develop and to evolve, or you're just going to dissolve in business. And that's something that, a lot of people say and or practice. So I know we're getting close to the end here. Is there one or two key points that you would give, say, takeaways about, your life or business that you would want to give our viewers?
Yeah. I'd say there's a lot, that's a big question there, but, I would say, keep your heart pure, treat people well and, serve people, bring more value than you ask and give more than you take. But if you do that, then, you're going to have a good name, and that good name you can, stand on for a long time. And just do what you say you're going to do, and do that to the best of your abilities. And another thing I'd say is, if you do take action and you got to ask for forgiveness later, make sure you do, like, apologize. Like, saying I'm sorry goes a long way. Receiving feedback from people and they give you feedback, it goes a long way. You're never going to be perfect, but you can definitely handle your failures well, and you can learn from them. And like I said in the beginning of this podcast, feedback is the breakfast of champions. And so if you give us the feedback of why we didn't, chose to work with us, and we learned something, that's a good meal right there. We can take that and grow and get better. One of my biggest lessons that catapulted my business was going to one of my biggest prior customers and relationships and got rejected. And when I say that, it's not a personal rejection. They didn't buy my product, and they gave me feedback about why they didn't buy the product. And that feedback motivated me to change my product. And that change proved to be a very good move. Well, why? It's because I wanted that type of profile customer to buy from me, not to, just say, it wasn't good enough, they didn't like it. No, dude, like, what do I need to do to get better? Yeah. What do I need to do to change? And if I do that, and I'm humble in that, where I can always improve whatever it is in your marriage, with your parenting, with your friendships, with your parents, with your business, that is very refreshing, because not everybody does that. It's not that common.
Man, that is solid. If you are watching today and you have watched through the whole time, which there's only been a couple of people that have watched the whole time, then you've gotten some absolute nuggets today. We've talked about all kinds of stuff, talked about working out. We're talking about the recipe of success, talk about how to transform your business. Now we're right at the end here, but we always do some sort of comment section, or else I started doing it about 10 episodes back. So we got a couple of comments here. So we got Mark Donaldson here. What's up, Mark? with a couple of deals here. I can't really read that.
Good to see you, Mark. He says, keep it up, slugger.
A good deal. Thank you so much, Mark, for coming in and for always engaging. This one thing about Mark is always engaging. Definitely an awesome guy to have in your wheelhouse. Thank you, Mark. Man, I want to thank you again, Ryan, for coming on to the podcast. It was an amazing broadcast. Again, we are sponsored by Roofing Supply Incorporated in the Houston marketplace. We are also sponsored by West Group Public Adjusting. If you're looking for an awesome public adjuster, hit up West Group. Again, Roofing Supply Incorporated, 210-919-8987. You can get your shingles from me. Again, we had Ryan. Thank you so much, Ryan, for coming on.
Thank you.
And having an amazing episode. You guys have a wonderful day. We've got one more episode planned for today. And then in about 1.5 hours, you guys stay tuned for another episode of Roofing on the Rise. Have a blessed